Hi everyone, it's LadyJenevia. Today's video is going to be an interview with RJ Cutler, who is an executive producer of the new Apple TV docuseries Dear. And he's also working on the upcoming Billie Eilish documentary, which will also be airing on Apple TV. I wanted to come on first to introduce and review Dear, but if you'd like to just skip to the interview, I will put a timestamp on the screen of when that will be starting. Dear is a docuseries consisting of 10 half-hour episodes. The title, Dear, is in reference to a series of letters written to the subject of each episode from people that have been positively impacted by their work. The subjects of each episode in sequential order are as follows: Spike Lee, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Stevie Wonder, Oprah Winfrey, Gloria Steinem, Big Bird, Jane Goodall, Aly Raisman, Yara Shahidi, and Misty Copeland. I cried a lot more than I expected to watching this series. There's a beautifully cinematic quality to each episode, and everyone's stories are really inspiring. The timing of a series like this being released is unexpectedly spot on. With everything that's going on in the world right now, it's really powerful to watch all of these episodes because each person has done so much to spark movements and make important changes through their own work, whether it's their art, public speaking, writing, protesting, the list goes on and on. In a social climate that's more tumultuous than ever, it's so easy to get discouraged and disenfranchised, but a series like this airing now is perfect to show how you, as one singular person, can make a huge impact and bring about necessary changes to better the lives of socially ostracized groups, help the environment, and so on and so forth. In general, I cannot stress enough how beautiful the show is. There's the deeper layers of what the show's messages are, but also on a filmmaking level, it's beautiful to look at. It's all the more touching that the show takes this format of not only telling the stories of these inspiring figures, but to also forge that connection between them and the different people whose lives are better because of the work these people have done. I cannot recommend it enough, and you can watch it all on June 5th when all of the episodes will premiere on Apple TV. Now, on to the interview. This docuseries, Dear, is unique because it connects the subjects of each episode to people who have been directly impacted by these people's works. So what inspired this particular format?
The format was something that I devised as a kind of response to a question I was asked by my dear friends over at Apple TV Plus. Apple had just produced a kind of 3-minute product spot on that was beautifully made. That was called Dear Apple, and it was it featured people who had written letters to Apple about how the Apple Watch had affected their lives, and they were beautiful letters, and it was beautifully filmed, and it was about the Apple Watch. And the question was, you think you might have an idea for a TV show inspired by this idea, by this concept, and so off I went, and this is what I came up with.
So how were the subjects of these episodes chosen, and did you collaborate with them directly on how they wanted to tell their stories?
They were chosen because we had this idea, which was that we wanted to explore how one person can change the world. And so we started making a list of who might be good subjects for that. And we thought, we want a musician. I wonder if Stevie Wonder would do it. And we want a filmmaker. I wonder if Spike Lee would do it. And we want a theater artist. I wonder if Lin Miranda would do it. We want a scientist. I wonder if Jane Goodall would be free. And I'd love an athlete. What's Aly Raisman up to? And we went from, this is how we built the list. We thought about people whose work and deeds had enormous impact on the world. But also people whose stories would lend themselves to individual examples of that impact. And that's how we put the group together.
The timing is quite interesting with everything that's going on right now and the fact that this series is about to be released, because a lot of these subjects have a very strong socio-political presence with their works. So are you hoping that perhaps this series will inspire a call to action in the viewers?
Well, I hope that this series will remind the world that we are connected. We don't live in isolation. We don't exist in isolation. Our words, our deeds, our actions, our creations, the work we put out into the world matters, and it affects the world. And it's not about me, it's about us. And we're we share this planet, and we share this culture, and we share this society, and we share this country. And the work that we do, and the actions that we take, they can change the world. They can. This is a show about people who have changed the world for the better, but they can change the world in all sorts of ways, and that's something that we need to be, I think, particularly aware of at this moment in our history.
I was very surprised when I was looking through the episodes to see that Big Bird was included, and I was thinking, well, how is that going to work when you have Big Bird in this roster of these really strong celebrity figures? But I found the episode to be actually very moving. So, what inspired this inclusion, and where did that idea come from?
That idea came from, if you were going to make a list of 10 people and or birds who had changed the world and had a profound impact on other people, who would be on that list. And since we opened it up to birds, it was very clear to us that the biggest bird of them all should be on our list.
I'm a big fan of how scoring is used in filmmaking. That's my mom's professional background is music, so I've always had very strong opinions about scoring, and I really liked the way the scoring enhanced, I guess, the emotional impact of the material and the stories. So how did you go about I guess choosing whomever scored it, or if you had any directions, or if you left that up to whomever was doing the scoring?
Well, what I did is what I often do in my work. I picked up the phone and called Craig Ritchie, who is a brilliant composer, a great artist, and really, truly a documentary filmmaker, who does his work through musical composition. And we took it from there. We've done a number of things together. It is always a great pleasure to collaborate with him. The results are always thrilling, and I'm not surprised to hear you say that, because he's an artist of the highest order.
All of these subjects have really dense stories and very extensive careers, and each episode being only a half hour long, how did you approach navigating the most efficient way to tell the important parts of these people's stories, without rushing anything? Because I found that the pacing worked really well, and there was a lot of information included, despite only having a half hour to do it.
You're essentially asking, how do we do what we do? So it's every story has its own set of challenges. I and what you describe is, it's very gratifying to hear, because that's the work that we do. I mean, we knew we wanted half an hour. We knew we wanted 3 or 4 letter writers per episode, occasionally 5. We knew that if we went to 35 or 40 minutes, it wouldn't be the end of the world, and some stories would warrant that. This is about making 10 pieces of narrative art, and hoping that you get it just right. And there's a certain amount of alchemy involved, as there always is in the films that we do, and the things that we make. We're not, the beauty of working for a streaming platform like Apple TV Plus is, you're not hitting act outs for commercials. You're making movies. You're making little movies. And so it's like making a good meal. There's a lot involved, and a lot of it is technique, and a lot of it is instinct, and a lot of it is the beauty of the collaboration. There's well over 100 people involved in making these episodes, and every step of the way, every bit of the process is very intense and integral. And as I say, if you get it right, when you're doing your press for the series, somebody asks a question like you just asked. So I'm
Oh.
sorry not to be able to answer it more specifically, but I'm grateful for the question.
In general, it's a very strange time to be an artist and a filmmaker when the whole future of filmmaking is so up in the air and in limbo. So, how are you currently approaching working on your other upcoming projects? I know that I read through your bio and you have an upcoming Billie Eilish documentary, which is also for Apple TV. So, how are you navigating this new uncharted territory?
We go to work every day. We do what we do. We go to work every day, and fortunately, we live in a time where technology overcomes certain limitations. The Billy film in particular was we had finished shooting when March 13th, I believe, was the date that everybody kind of took, the safer at home in California took hold, and we were done filming by then. So the editorial process is actually something that can be very effectively managed with the technology we have at our disposal. We made sure that the editors were set up with edit bays in their individual homes, and we communicate a lot online all day long. We're in touch. I'll be receiving an edit this very evening, and I'll spend the weekend watching it. First thing Monday, I'll give my feedback, and we'll work more. So it's a constant process, and it's not the only project. We continue our work on all of our projects because that's what we do. You find your way through the challenges. You carry on. You do your best. There's certain things you can't do, but as I say, you find your way around it. And you know, it's true that this is a challenging moment, but cinema isn't going anywhere. Um, uh, Production isn't going anywhere. Documentary storytelling isn't going anywhere. Theater isn't going anywhere. These are the engines of our culture as much as anything else, and we have a profound, meaningful need to gather for communal storytelling. It dates back, as we all know, to the cavemen, and probably before there were caves, there were people gathering to tell stories to each other. So it's going to survive. That's for sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed the series.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.